not sure if you guys been watching the videos I've been sending or reading what I've been sending as well, but today I'm here with Dardo and we're gonna talk about how Jesus comes when you least expect it and how he does good things when you think when there's times when you feel like you're in a season or you're in a part in your life and you're thinking, why is this happening? Maybe you made mistakes, or maybe you haven't made mistakes, but your heart is in the right place always, and you keep feeling like you're in a season where like you're not getting what you wanted, like you're suffering through an illness, you're suffering through something that is pulling you down, and you're like, where's God in this? But I like the analogy I watched in a video today that sometimes when it seems impossible, or when you're at your worst, sometimes that's when God shows how big he is. He can show how big he is and how much he is a miracle worker when you're at your worst. And then you come out, and if you just have faith and keep believing, you will see God show up. Anyways, there's this story about like Moses parted the sea or the river before, when he brought the people to the promised land, and it parted right away. And then he had a son who he was bringing to the promised land, and when he was going to the promised land, and there was another river, and he tried to do the same thing as his father did and tried to part the sea with a rod, but it wouldn't part like his father, like his father did right away. So he told the people, keep walking, and keep walking towards the river, and we're going to know that it will part. And he didn't held back. He just believed, even though he saw his father that it parted before in the past, but with him it didn't. But he kept believing in it still. And then they walked towards the water, towards the river, and then right when they touched the water and they were in deep, it parted. And that's what God does with our faith sometimes. Anyways, and on the other side was, of course, the promised land. So anyways, God shows up when we least expect it, and sometimes we just have to wait for it. And also sometimes we're not believing and we think it's never gonna happen, and that can prevent us from the goodness of God. But sometimes God says it's enough and he shows up anyways. Your turn. I was gonna ask you.
All right, you mentioned a lot of stuff, which all of the stuff that you mentioned are really, so true, because God, He comes in our lives when you least expect it, like you said. And a perfect example of that is you.
Yeah.
You know why it's
Why?
you? Because when you first got here to Alaska, you were always you're discouraged that you'll never find somebody that will love you for the rest of your life, and you always blame God. This is so true, and you told me this before, that no, you blame him for something, but in spite of all that, right, he healed you. He's there. He's always there for you, Ali.
Yeah.
He never abandoned you
Yeah.
until the day comes that you come to realize that God is with you the whole time. There's a reason why you came here to Alaska and to be with someone. You remember I told you before that there's always special someone for your life. And it happens that, all the things that happen in this house, he brought you here to be happy. And that's the perfect example when God comes to your life when you least expected it.
Yeah, because well, I was gonna tell to you my testimony. You didn't know. I remember I told to you a few months ago. I kept telling you, I don't believe God exists. If God exists, then why does this happen? Why does that happen? Why is there always pain? Why is there this bad stuff happen to people or bad stuff happen to me? I thought that, remember? I told that to you, and I was so adamant that I didn't believe that God was real, but I wanted to believe always by going to church and like listening to things. I wanted to believe because I wanted to have hope, but deep down I didn't believe. And then something, when Jared came, I was like, if true love does exist, then maybe God does exist. And when we kept going to church, I was like moved, and then we kept hearing the word. And then one day we turned on Sadie Robertson, and it summed up my whole past 10 or 9 years. I was always mad at God because of everything and blaming him for everything. And then she said something that was so powerful that changed me when I heard that, and it like resonated in me for like a week or two. And I was like, whoa. And like, it summed up everything. She said, God is always who he is. He's been the same in the past. He's the same in the future. He is always who he is. What happens to you doesn't determine who he is. Your circumstances don't determine who he is. Like, everything that happens around your life, that doesn't determine who he is. We are still in the world, and there will be pain, there will be trial, there will be things that happen, but God is always who he is. And that's the reason of, like they say, when you go to heaven, it's so good, because we're still in the world, and this is where the enemy is.
Right. I mean, God, God is he's selfish because he's the one who created us. All he wants us to do is pretty much worship him. That's it. That's all he wanted was, ever since in the beginning, he will always be there for us. But all he asks is to worship him.
Yeah.
And thank him every day for all these things that you've done to us. But of course, mankind is so stubborn that they don't listen. In my past experience, over the course of my life, ever since the day I was born, I was raised Catholic, but I believe in him from the very first day. I do believe in him. And more so as I get older, I come to realize that, yes, you gotta have faith in him. Nothing more important in this whole world is, that you could ever have. You gotta have that faith instilled. You gotta have that connection with him. Otherwise, all the stuff that you do here on earth will be meaningless. Nothing. There's a lot of stuff that you can do out here to make this place a better world for each and every one of us. All you gotta do is open your eyes, look around you. There's a lot of, you don't have to go far to help others. You just have to look around you and you see people that are suffering, help others or something. And people, have different mentalities or whatever, beliefs and whatnot, but I mean, it's really simple. You have to share what you have to others, and it's so hard. Believing in him is one of the hardest for some people, but is for him. He's always there for you. He's always there trying to convince you that he exists. But what we do, we just try to push him away and say, "You, God, you don't exist." He does exist. You just have to, like I said, have that connection in him. Find time to talk to him, and give him all your troubles, all your issues, whatever the case may be, and just have faith in him. And I know that he will heal you, that he will help you every step of the way. That is a loving God. There's no, he's the only God that does that to his children. No other gods that would do that for us. None whatsoever. But like I said, believing in him, having faith in him, that's all he ever wanted. Nothing more. Believing him, God of Abraham, through Jesus Christ. That's all he wanted. It's as simple as that. There's a lot of suffering here on earth, all around, all across the globe. People dying, people starving. What can we do? Like I say, you don't have to go far away to help others. You just have to open your eyes. You'll be able to see it. And spread that goodness that's within us. And if you believe in him, he will always be there for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Arlie. What else you gotta say?
What else I gotta say? You made a point. It is hard. We can believe him in the good times, but in the bad times, it's hard. Because you think, why is this happening? What's going on? Like, sometimes the most precious thing can be taken away from you sometimes, and then you feel like your life is like it's gone or something, or it's torn apart or something, or you're at your worst, or a problem happens to you. But I was watching a Joel Osteen, and it's like that's the time, like in the season, where your faith is like, it's being like refined, and during that time, God is probably working on something, most likely working on something that he will bring out later on, and you don't know why it happened then. You don't know why this thing happened to you, but later on you realize, oh, God had something better in store. That's what happens a lot of times.
Yep. And like I said, it's God is everywhere, 24/7. He's always there for us, helping us, protecting us every step of the way. I know there's a lot of times at work that I could have been badly hurt, but he protected me. There's so many times that I must have got seriously hurt, but he protected me every step of the way. I do my prayers every time I do something that's considered dangerous, building that you can slip, trip, and fall. But I do believe in him that he will always protect me. I know for a fact. Like I said, there's so many occasions that I thought I was gonna get hurt, and there he was. He protected me.
Oh, I wanted to share with you this really cool thing. I watched this video that Sadie Robertson did about, and he said that God is like the roar of a lion. Like, you can feel him and know who he is. It's like God is the roar of a lion. Like the lion, what they do when they're in their territory, they um they make a roar to signal to other lions that they're there, and then they especially do it at night to let the other lions know that they're still there because they can't see each other. And sometimes in life, you can hear God, but you can't see him sometimes, but you can hear him and feel him, and you know that he's there with you. I've been watching so much Joel Osteen and Sadie Robertson while you've been gone.
that's
I've been
good.
obsessed with them because, like, I don't know, I just got obsessed. And I was like, when I finally believe and knew, I was like, this is who God is and who he is in your life. And it's like holding on to that, knowing who you are, it's like helped me a lot.
Exactly. And like, you know, I pray for each and every one of us here. And I know that God will send you a message, or he's gonna do something to you, especially you. You know, he will change you. I never seen you so happy, you know. Before you always in your room, sad and all that. But look at you right now. It's a miracle to me. He changed you. He really changed you, Holly. That's why I told you gotta stick up with him from now on till the end.
Yeah.
You know what? When things get so rough that you can't handle it, guess what? You call on him, and he's there. You know, you just have to have that faith, that knowing that he's around to help you, just like a father and a mother, or a mother at this time. You know, God bless his soul. But your mom is always there for you when you needed him, right? Your brother, Jared, myself, right? Somebody to talk to. He's just like that, but in a higher level,
Yeah.
in a spiritual level. He's there for you.
Yeah, and like before in my past, all these years, I would like teachers would say, just pray. And then I would pray. And then after I'm done, I was like, I'm so angry at you, God. You're not going to answer it. You don't even care about me. I was so angry for God for like 10 years, I think. What's the point every time I hear stuff? And then I feel like my anger was kind of like blocking my mind to hear him. And then when I guess it was my time to finally feel it, finally. And then now when I pray, because I don't have anger, I can hear him better when I pray, because I just, that's what I feel.
See, I mean, it took a while, but it doesn't matter. But he was there for you. That's the main thing, you know. He changed you. You know, it's just, I mean, I don't know how. So, what made you change him? I mean, what happened to you? What was the one of those significant events that happened, that took place in your life, that made you change? What was it?
I told you exactly what it was. I'm serious about that. That Sadie Robertson video.
Oh, that one. What else? That's the main thing, or just you just happened to watch the video, or
Well,
you just had an instinct saying that, hey, I gotta watch this, or something, or what? What made you watch that?
Well, I liked country
Who
stars.
somebody told you, or somebody?
No. Well, I like country music and stars, and
Okay.
and then I
So
turned
it was your
Sadie
own
on.
recognition.
I turned Sadie on, and she is famous in the country area there. And then when I turned her on, I listened to it, and then I was like, whoa, is that true? Like, how come I didn't know that? And that seems like it would be true, and I didn't even know that this whole time. Like what she said, the whole message. And then after a few weeks, I got drawn to her. And then I started listening to video by video, and I was like, this is who God really is. I had so many misconceptions about myself and about God, and I kept listening to Sadie Robertson. I was like, so this is who God is. And the way she explains it is so well, because I think it's very good that have someone who explains it so well, because she explained it really well. And then after that, I was like, I want more. And then I felt him, and I prayed to him about all the things I was angry at. Why is this? And I think he answers more. Even you don't have to be embarrassed that you're mad or that you're angry or that you feel like this or that. You don't have to be embarrassed in front of God when you pray. And that's what I felt like I had to do. I had to pray my most honestly. And when I was angry at things, and I had to pray about everything, my guilt and everything, and shame and all the things I felt mistaken for, I had to pray about it and come to him. And when I prayed to him and I prayed like that, I felt him speaking to me, and I could feel who he was. And then as the days went by, I got more obsessed with who he was, because I felt like who he was just in prayer and watching Sadie Robertson. And then I just wanted to watch more, and then I watched Joel Osteen, and then I got so obsessed with Joel Osteen, because I believe that that's what God wants of us, the way that Joel Osteen preaches. A lot of people say he's just positive, but it's not just like that. God is...
Yeah, he's positive in a good way. I mean, I don't really watch him a whole lot, but pretty sure that was his calling, to preach and spread the goodness of God, through the Bible. And like we talk about, God works in mysterious ways, and you just have to believe and have faith. I always say this, but it's true. If you don't have faith, then nothing. How can he change you? It has to start from you. You have to call him, and he's there. He's always there. Like I said, he's always there, 24/7, every step of the way. And he will never, ever abandon us, ever. Because God is love, merciful, all these things that, he's just there for us. He loves us so much that he will do anything for us. So, a lot of us, there are times that, I question myself sometimes. It's just, I'm human. I get mad, I get angry, I get depressed just like anybody else. But through him, I get depressed at work because people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But I just move on, and I ask guidance from God that, I'll be able to move on and accomplish the task that I'm supposed to do. But I pray every time that, God would protect us every day. Every task that we do, I pray. It's no secret, If you believe in him, then you ask for him. You always call on him. Anytime, any day, whatever. You can just talk to him while you're driving, Talking to just normal. I know people might think you're crazy, but if you're by yourself and you're talking, yeah. But if you're talking about him, it doesn't really matter. You just want to felt his presence, felt that he's there for you, and talking to him, makes you more closer to him, in a sense that, he knows that you have faith, and talking to him, know, it just relaxes me, and it makes me feel, he get rid of all my anxiety or whatever else that's bothering me. It's just the power of the Lord, and it's the healing power that he has for all of us, and it's just there. We just have to cultivate it, appreciate it, absorb all that body, mind, and soul. For he's a true living God that loves us so much. We have to worship him because he's our creator. Nobody created us but him. Therefore, it's just our way to thank him that, hey, God, thank you for creating us. Thank you for all these things you give us. A house, a car, the food you provide us every day, the friends, our loved ones. All these things came from him. But some people just don't appreciate all this stuff. All the things that we do on a daily basis, it come from him. It's a gift from him. For we to be alive every day, talking to you, talking to anyone, it's a gift. Being alive. That's the most precious thing, the most eternal, or one of those eternal gifts that he can give us. Here in afterlife, those are something that we have to be, thankful for every day. Stuff, I can't say enough, that he is loving, like I said, and he's just there. He loves us so much, and why can't we just accept him? He doesn't ask for much, like I said. Only once, I said it again, is to have faith in him and worship him. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he gives us so many good things, and he loves us so much, and that's one of the reasons why I believe the Joel Osteen ministry is so much, because if God is so powerful, and because he is powerful and he loves us so much, then there's nothing preventing us from his goodness. And he is powerful, so he can do anything. And the more you believe in him and have faith in his power, the more it's like you're praising and glorifying him more. The more you believe in his goodness and have more faith, I think the better things happen in your life as well.
Yeah, he loves us so much that he gave his only son, for whosoever believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. That's how much he loves us.
Yeah.
So, that is one of those things that, I don't know, if this was in our situation, would you give your son, sacrifice your son for mankind? If you have a son, would you do that? That's a big question mark. He did that for us. That no human being, I don't know, Abraham did that. He's the only one that I know that he's willing to sacrifice his own son for him. And what God said, he stopped him from doing it, right? Because he proved himself that he loves God above all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the power of God.
Yeah. And he always tries to do things in our life to make us to put him first place. He always wants to be first place. Anyways, I guess we'll end the video with that. I'll talk about the ABCs real quick. Admit that you're a sinner. Believe that Jesus died on the cross for your sins. And then confess. What was the last part? Confess
Confess your sins, or
confess that Jesus is the Lord of your life. Or confess that Jesus is Lord. Confess that he is Lord. Or confess that Jesus is God and that he's the Lord of your life. There's an analogy that a pastor made at a church that Jared and I went to the other week. He said that the gift is like a present under a tree. You can either receive it or you can reject it. You can't just let it stay there and say like, oh, I'm just gonna like ignore it. Because if you ignore it, you're actually rejecting it. So when you have a gift, like the gift from the Lord, you either receive it or you accept it. So if you have to accept that into your life. You can't just live through life just like oblivious to everything. Oh, I know God is up there. But to know the story of God and to know who he is and recognize what he did and then make him Lord of your life, that's a different decision, and that's receiving the gift actually instead of rejecting it. So those are the ABCs. Okay. Bye.
bye.